Nukimus Prime here, so it is time for the next episode of my series, Old is Better Than New. And in today's video, I'm going to be covering this time an example of a video game franchise where I personally think a vast majority of its games are better in the old than the new. There's probably a couple of the games where, in my opinion, they're not good, and in my opinion, the franchise has way better games which are old. And that franchise, of course, what I personally think old is better than new, is none other than a franchise by Ubisoft, which of course is Assassin's Creed. So, you guys are going to be asking me, of course, what does a franchise of Assassin's Creed mean to me? So, this is probably a big example of a franchise where I used to love playing the games as they're released each year, and I was really into them so much when I was really young. I can remember, of course, that I played the very first game, Assassin's Creed, on Xbox 360. Definitely, of course, a great start to a franchise, and without this game, we wouldn't have this franchise, so I really appreciate the very first game a lot. And if you guys are going to ask me what my personal favourite game is in a franchise, it's most definitely, of course, the second game, Assassin's Creed 2, which I actually have here as part of the PS4 remaster on this extra collection here, which includes, of course, Brotherhood and Revelations, which are also awesome games, which make up this trilogy. The actual trilogy is probably, in my opinion, where a franchise is at absolute best, in my opinion. And of course, Ezio himself is also my favourite assassin in the franchise, my favourite character. I just love Ezio so much. I love his story. Just an incredible character. And I can't wait to replay this on PS4 because I've already played the games on Xbox One and Xbox 360 before. So I'm looking forward now to going back down memory lane and playing the old games on PS4 or backwards compatible on my PS5. So I'm definitely excited for that. So, in my opinion, the franchise was at its absolute best with Ezio's trilogy. Then we also as well got a third game, which was Assassin's Creed 3. And I've played this game, guys, and apparently it's had bad reviews, but this for me is a game that I love that people don't like because I actually love this game. I think it did a great job taking the franchise in a new direction, and it did something different, which I really appreciated. And I'm also saying the graphics in this remaster are, in my opinion, absolutely phenomenal for a remaster of quite an old game in the franchise, because I think it holds up beautifully. And what's cool is this PS4 version of the game, which I think is also an Xbox One version, comes with as well all the DLC and also the game Liberation, which I have played on PS Vita. It's a pretty good game, and I'm looking forward to see what it's like on PS4 so I can compare it. So that's free. Definitely, in my opinion, a very underrated game. We also as well got a spin-off game, of course, which was set in 3 different realities, which is Chronicles, which I've heard about but not had a chance to play at the time of recording, so I got this so I could play as part of my PlayStation marathon for Assassin's Creed in the future, so look forward to trying this out. I've seen clips where it looks like a really good game, so I'm definitely excited to see that, and when I, of course, get to play it. Then in terms of main games, we've then as well got Black Flag, which is a 4th one of a franchise. I love this one because it introduced something new, which of course was naval combat. I think out of the games which has the naval combat, this one, in my opinion, does it the absolute best, because I definitely think they did a great job with it. And I love how they expanded on the world building for the characters, did a really great job with it. I'm also say that in these old games, open worlds, in my opinion, are just absolutely gorgeous and just wonderful to explore. So much mystery and adventure lying there for you to play, and just incredible, really. And this game is definitely no stranger to that because of the amazing seas of the Caribbean you can explore. Then also as well, we then got the last one to be released, of course, on 7th generation consoles, was before the franchise went entirely into 8th generation onward, which is probably for me the most underrated one, of course, which is Rogue. And I personally think this is the most underrated one, because I love how this one also takes a big step in making it different, by this time, of course, where you play as a villain, where you play as a Templar, which of course is Shay. So I like how they did something new there. I'd personally call a game Templar's Creed instead of Assassin's Creed, well, to be completely honest, but it's definitely, for me, the most underrated in the franchise. It's a shame it's so short, because I had lots of fun playing this when I played on Xbox One, and I can't wait to replay it on PS4. Then we got what is probably, for me, the best outside of the actual trilogy, which is Unity. I absolutely love this game, and it's a game that I massively appreciate because, I mean, guys, this game is 10 years old. 10. And in my opinion, it looks phenomenal. Like, the graphics, the character AI, everything. It's just absolutely wonderful, and the parkour is also, in my opinion, absolutely sick. Probably the best I've seen in a franchise since the actual trilogy, in my opinion, because it's just so phenomenal what they did with it in this game. And it's just, in my opinion, so much fun to play through. And I can't wait to replay this on PS4. I've already played it on Xbox One, and I cannot wait to play it on PS4. Then we got the next one, of course, which is Syndicate. Now, what I will say is, it does feel like a bit of a downgrade compared to Unity, but it's still, in my opinion, a good game. And I enjoyed playing this, of course, getting to explore London and playing as two characters this time, which was definitely a nice change in direction for a franchise. He plays two characters this time. And it was, in my opinion, a pretty good game, absolutely. The last one to feature a traditional combat in the franchise, well, because they, of course, changed it around in the next one, because, for those of you who don't know, the franchise took a break from its yearly releases of the games to then, of course, release the next one in 2017, of course, which is Origins. And in my opinion, guys, this is the last good Assassin's Creed game, as far as I'm concerned. And what it did, which was unique, is it had, of course, like a new combat system where it's no longer triangle and square, what to fight with. It's instead, the bumpers on the controller that you fight with, and also the triggers. It's those you got to use, really. So it felt really different. It was hard for me to get used to because I was so used to square and triangle combat when I was younger. But eventually I got there and I managed to beat the game on Xbox One. And it's definitely, in my opinion, fantastic. With also as well great graphics, because I think one thing that makes these games I've just talked about so great is how they're consistently good at their gameplay and the graphics. And that's what I really appreciate. And also amazing stories too, which, are so much better, in my opinion, than what we're getting today from a franchise, absolutely. And also likable and well-developed and relatable characters who you can empathise with and who you actually root for to win. Because when I played the entire trilogy of the Ezio trilogy, I was so rooting for Ezio so badly to win because of how gripping the story was. Like, that's how much the trilogy meant to me. And I can remember when I was younger, I used to replay Assassin's Creed 2 like I was no tomorrow because it was such a phenomenal game. I wanted to play as much as possible. And I definitely can't wait to replay it on PS4, backwards on PS5, same with other games. And I'm hoping to one day as well get the first game to replay on PS3 for happy memories as well. Can't wait to do that one day, just need to find it first. But unfortunately, when it comes, of course, to today's Assassin's Creed, I'd say that for me, the worst one of the franchise is most definitely the one that came after Origins, which is Assassin's Creed Odyssey. But in my opinion, guys, that game is Assassin's Creed in name only, because it does not feel at all like an Assassin's Creed game. It literally feels like a game set in ancient Greece. You might as well call it maybe like 300 the game, because it literally opens with a battle of 300 like in the 300 movie. It took inspiration from the movie by Zack Snyder for that opening scene of the game. So you might as well call it a 300 game. Would have probably been, in my opinion, much better. Like, if you play the game like it's a Greek myth game, set in ancient Greece, then you'd probably like it. But if you go into it knowing it's an Assassin's Creed game, you're probably going to hate it. And I certainly hated it. Because I just thought it was, in my opinion, really stupid what they did. And I must say as well that they took lots of the important stuff from the previous games, or a lot, and botched up, in my opinion. One thing they took away, which I was very angry about, was probably the leap of faith, because you can no longer hide in haystacks for some reason, which I don't know how they got rid of that. And when it comes as well to the main character in the real world, this also applies to Origins too, but she was frankly more trouble in that game than in this game and the next game. I personally could not stand Layla Hassan as a character. In my opinion, she was pretty annoying, and when you compare her to Desmond Miles, she was nowhere near as likable or as fun to watch and play as, especially when it comes to Assassin's Creed 3 where you do play as Desmond. Like, I just think that she was just, in my opinion, really annoying and one-dimensional, just not a good character, in my opinion. Desmond, in my opinion, was miles better because he was just so likeable and well-developed, and I really like Nolan North's performance as him as well, one of my favourite roles of Nolan North. But I just really feel that Layla was such a downgrade in comparison to Desmond and other characters before her. And Odyssey, in my opinion, just botched up a franchise. And one thing it did, which I thought was also so dumb, was including mythical creatures from Greek myth. Like, what is this, God of War? Oh my god. I think the game got confused with God of War, especially because the 2018 God of War game got released in that same year, didn't it? Ouch. So, I frankly refuse to replay Odyssey on PS4, but backwards compatible on PS5. No chance of me ever replaying that game. Because I don't think it's the worst one because of how much it takes away, which made the franchise so iconic and beloved. Like, it's simply not an Assassin's Creed game, in my opinion. If you want to see me trash talk even more, then please go see my ranking video for the games, which I did last year. Then, after this, we then as well got another break in the yearly releases to then, of course, get Valhalla in 2020. And I did play this game, guys, and while it was slightly better than Odyssey, in my opinion, it was still, in my opinion, not good, but more I think about it, because I know there's problems with it as I played it more and more. What I think is so dumb about it is it relies far too much on grinding to progress through a story, and that really bugged me a lot. Because what I appreciate about old games is they allow you to enjoy a story without having to worry about, grinding for stuff. They just let you have fun. Whereas in this game, you've got to grind like there's no tomorrow, and it just really annoyed me. Like, I don't even remember Origins requiring you to grind that much to progress through a story, but apparently in this game you have to. Not to mention, including Norse mythology, oh, get the hell out. And also as well, the game also really angered me because when I'm trying to escape from, of course, the hard times that we had in 2020, of course, with a pandemic, the game just had to include a COVID reference in the real world on an email, So, I really hated that because when I play games, I try to escape from the bad times that have happened in my life, and the COVID pandemic was definitely one of them, so I was so angry about that I had to mention it. So, wasn't happy. So, because of the changes to the gameplay and botching of the lore, and including mythical creatures and all that in the franchise, which in my opinion doesn't belong in Assassin's Creed, I was happily done with the franchise. And I personally do not care about Mirage. I'm not going to play that game. From what I've seen of it, it just looks like a really bad rip-off of the first game, in my opinion. Looks like, in my opinion, terrible. Like, still the same crap gameplay that I've seen, and also it's still including powers, which in my opinion is a dumb move, because these recent games have introduced powers for some reason, which I think is stupid. Thankfully, Origin doesn't include it that much when it comes to mythical stuff, because there's like a boss fight where you fight Anubis, but that's thankfully just like an event thing that takes place. You don't have to do a store mode, thankfully, but even so, I was disappointed with what direction the franchise went in. So, like, characters you don't care about, and like gameplay, which in my opinion is a joke, which botches up what made the old games so beloved and just in my opinion amazing, especially for me to play when I was younger. Just what an absolute joke the franchise has become. In the meantime, what I'll do is I will stick to playing the old games because I love these games very much, and I can't wait to go down memory lane and playing the old ones. So, as far as I'm concerned, Assassin's Creed is a franchise where, in gaming, where old is better than new. I'm not going to play any more games with a franchise. I'll stick to the old ones happily. Because I think Ubisoft really have lost their touch. Because they can no longer include likeable characters, or like gameplay which is, motivating me to play it at all. Like, there's just nothing there anymore, in my opinion. The franchise is not the same as it used to be, and not in a good way, sadly, which breaks my heart. Because of how much I loved playing the games when I was really young. Just great memories there. But now, in my opinion, the franchise is a joke. So, this is me doing a video on why, in my opinion, Assassin's Creed is definitely a big example, I can say, in a gaming franchise where old is better than new. So, you know the drill, guys. Be sure to give this video a like. Also, be sure to talk in the comments what you guys think of Assassin's Creed. If you played it, let me think in the comments below doing old is better than new for that franchise. Also, be sure to join the team by pressing subscribe moves coming in future. And I'll see you all later.